All week, we've been examining the crime scene of a dying empire. We've watched the sparks fly in a high-haste Roman mint. We zoomed in under the microscope, watching acid bubble on a metal surface. That was supposed to be pure silver, only to find a bleeding copper core hidden underneath. If you've been following our logs this week, you know we are dealing with case file number 202, Emperor Gallienus and the Roman Age of Chaos, circa AD to 160. Most people look at a piece like this and see a poorly struck, heavily corroded ancient coin. But today, we are going to read the physical evidence left behind by a civilization staring directly into the abyss. To understand how this coin was born, we have to look at the map of AD to 160, where an empire was being squeezed from every single side. This wasn't the grand, stable Rome of Augustus. This was the absolute peak of the crisis of the 3rd century.
If you lived in AD 260, would you have stayed in Rome or fled to the edges of the map?
Look at the map. The Roman world was being suffocated from every single direction. To the north, across the Danube River, massive waves of Germanic tribes, the Goths, and the Alemanni had completely shattered the imperial borders, pouring into Roman territory. To the east, the Sasanian-Persian Empire was relentlessly hammering the frontier. He established a massive, elite mobile cavalry base up north in Mediolanum, or modern-day Milan, to act as an emergency shield guarding the gateway to Italy. Because the troops were now stationed here, the entire mint distribution network had to adapt instantly. With the world tearing at the seams, look at how the imperial money engine had to move. Historically, the primary mint was right here in Rome, the traditional, historic heart of the state. But as the Goths pushed further south, threatening Italy itself, Emperor Gallienus had to make a desperate strategic pivot. Money wasn't just a medium of normal day-to-day commerce anymore. It was high-octane fuel for an emergency war machine. Gallienus needed to strike coins faster than the raw silver bullion could be mined, and he needed them distributed along these critical military supply routes, directly into the hands of the legions guarding the northern front. If the soldiers didn't get paid, they mutinied, and to pay them on time, the mints had to commit the ultimate economic crime. Which brings us directly to our next piece of evidence, the crime of metallurgy. When we put this coin under the microscope, the chemistry exposes the fraud. 95% copper, hidden beneath a desperate 3% silver wash. The physical evidence shows that these coins were struck under conditions of sheer panic. When you examine the strike mechanics, you aren't looking at the careful work of peacetime artisans. You are looking at a desperate, high-speed assembly line. The dies were slamming into these copper blanks so rapidly and with such force that the metal literally buckled under the pressure. The workers weren't centering the blanks. They weren't checking the alignment. And they certainly weren't discarding the flaws. Every single piece of struck metal was weaponized. Capital rushed out the door to stop a mutiny. Notice the extreme irregularities along the edges here, the jagged fractures. The off-center alignment, the clipped borders where the inscriptions are completely cut off. In numismatics, these aren't just random manufacturing defects. They are the unmistakable physical fingerprints of an empire running out of time. The mint marks tell us that as the borders collapsed, the quality control collapsed right along with them. Which brings us to our final forensic verdict. This piece of billon is far more than an ancient counterfeit or a poorly made coin. It is a physical time capsule of the year AD to 160. It proves that when a civilization is staring directly into the abyss of military and economic collapse, the very first thing it sacrifices is its truth. Gallienus didn't save Rome with silver. He saved it with illusions struck in copper. Every coin left behind by history is a survivor. It has passed through mutinies, survived the collapse of empires, and carried the secrets of the people who held it when the world was burning. This piece of copper-washed illusion didn't just pay a soldier, it bought an empire just enough. Time to survive the year to 160. The files on Emperor Gallienus and the emergency mint of Milan are officially closed. But history is full of cold cases waiting to be solved, and thousands of years of secrets are still buried beneath the surface, waiting for the light of day. If you're ready to dig deeper, investigate the evidence, and uncover the survival stories trapped in ancient metal, hit that subscribe button. Join me inside the vault for the next investigation. Until next time, keep digging for the truth.